Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, the weekly podcast devoted to all things spirituality and self-improvement. I am so delighted you're here with me today because today we're going to be talking about how to work through the fear of failure. This is something that plagues us all. You want to try something new, or maybe you're in something new, a new job, a new relationship, or whatever it is. And those self-doubts start creeping in. So how do you move past that fear of failure so that we don't self-sabotage and keep doing the same things over and over again? That's what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get started with today's topic, I want to share something really exciting with you all. So I was very blessed to have been invited, this was about a year ago, to be a part of a new TV network. And I didn't say anything because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. And it had a rocky start. But I am very excited today to announce that new reality TV, it launched on Monday, and Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness is a part of this new TV network. Now, what will you find there? You will find videos of the podcast episodes that I do where I interview guests. And you will also find videos that are made only for this new TV network. The first one that's there. I talk about my own spiritual awakening journey, and I do a reading for you, pull some cards. So it's going to be videos like that where I will tackle topics and then also pull cards for you and do readings, along with the interviews that I do with my other guests that you maybe have heard, but you'll get to see the videos now. And there are also going to be some that you've never seen before because I did not release them on my public platforms. So I encourage you to go and check out New Reality TV. Along with Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, there are also many other amazing shows there that are all about spirituality and awakening. And the goal of this channel is to be sort of like the Gaia Network in that we elevate the collective and we teach people how to let go of fear and to start living from a place of love. So if that sounds like you, please go check out New Reality TV today. There is a link in the show notes. I would be so happy for you to join us in that journey. All right, so we're going to get back to the topic at hand today. How do you move past the fear of failure? This is something that I know has plagued me in my own life. Anytime I try something new and I have a new venture, I'm always worried that it's not going to work out. I've had to learn how to move past that and just do it. And one phrase that comes to mind that keeps showing up over and over again, and I pulled some cards to go along with today's episode. I already had the topic that I wanted for the episode, but I went ahead and pulled some cards to give you a reading at the end of the episode. And one thing that came out twice and keeps coming out in my readings is show up shaking. So when I say we're going to move past the fear of failure, I don't mean that you're going to be 100% confident because most people aren't. And perfection is not a thing anyway, and it's something that I think is another form of fear. But how do we move past that in order to continue moving forward? One of the things that has really helped me is to let go of the need for control all of the time. And I know you've heard me say this before, but for me personally, there were a lot of things that happened to me as a kid I had no control over, like my parents getting divorced, just being told you have to do this, you have to do that. And that led to, and as a Gen Xer, all my fellow Gen Xers out there, we're a whole generation that we were the first latchkey kids, really. We were the ones who were told to stay outside and play and not come in. There's so many things, right? The whole way that we were raised with our generation, it's a wonder that we haven't been more scarred emotionally than we have, but it has taught me that I needed to control and have control over everything in my life. What I've learned since then is that the more I try to control things, the less I'm allowing the universe to come in and co-create with me. And I'm trying to have control over these things. And I understand we have security issues, right? We need to be able to feel like we have enough food, enough money, all of those things. And I totally get that because as a single mom, that was my number one block, is just being so terrified that I wasn't going to have enough. And I kept getting put in situations where I didn't have enough. And you know when it started to change? It started to change when I let go of that fear, when I stopped worrying about it, because worrying doesn't do anything positive. And me trying to have 15 jobs to stay up with everything, that also wasn't doing anything, because it was like the more things would come in, the faster it would go out. When I realized it was this energy and flow, it sounds silly because you're like, what energy can do all of that? It can. And when you let go, and I'm not kidding when I tell you this, it's been such a journey for me letting go of this money thing and in the need to control it and the need for all of this. And it hasn't been a thing where like I let it go overnight. It hasn't. Trust me. But I've been learning little by little. Okay, I'm letting go. I'm letting go a little more. I'm letting go a little more. Letting go a little more. It's like layers of an onion, right? You keep peeling it back. I keep letting go a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And what I found is the more I did that, the more things came in for me, and the less I saw my money just going right back out again. What did I do differently? I didn't get an extra job. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. What I did was I learned to let go. The more you worry and try to control, the more you're attracting the things you need to worry and have control over. So a big thing is letting go, which is so hard. As human beings, oh my word, is it hard for us to let go of things? So that whole set it and forget it is true. Stop obsessing and worrying compulsively over your finances, okay? That's number one. If that's you, if you're having money issues, stop worrying about it. It's not helping you. It's just giving you ulcers, and you're not sleeping at night, and you're just in a constant state of a mental prison. Let that go. You really do have to let it go. I realize that you might have a fear over something, and it's going to be different for every person. Some of you, it might be finances. Some of you, maybe you fear being alone and not finding anyone. We all have different fears. Maybe some of you, it's starting over and finding a new career. Again, it's going to be unique to you. But the first thing you have to do is change your mindset around it. First of all, accept the fact that you have the fear. We know we have this fear. It's not like we can say, well, I'm not afraid and just not be afraid. That is not how it works. Accept the fact that you have this fear. And then we need to reframe this understanding. We need to realize that this is an opportunity for us to learn and grow. You really have to be compassionate with yourself, because you're just starting out with this, or maybe you've done this before, but you're like, well, I keep failing over and over again. The one thing we never, ever want to do is beat ourselves up, because listen, you're just a human being. You came here to have a human experience. We all have. Do not go down that rabbit hole of I'm so blah, blah, blah. Stop it. Okay, if I could reach out to you, I'd smack you. No, I'm just kidding. But don't do that, because give yourself grace. You need it. You're just starting out. We're just learning how to let go of this need to control. We're learning how to accept that we're afraid, but trying to learn how we can work through it. So give yourself grace. Understand that you're probably going to fall backwards. We do. It's okay. You say, isn't that interesting? I just messed up again. Oh, well, that was a learning opportunity. I'm going to move forward. We don't keep beating ourselves up over that. Also, we tend to want to look at the big picture and go, I have to be here by this date, and I have to, I want to be financially stable, so I have to do that by next month. Don't do that to yourself. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to quit. You're going to not see the results, because we need to start setting small goals for ourselves. So maybe instead of saying, I'm never going to worry about my finances again, we just say, I'm not going to look at my bank account 20,000 times a day. I'm going to stop looking at it. I'm going to understand that the money's there. I don't have to keep putting this visual there that I don't have any money. It's just set small goals. Or if you want a relationship, okay, today I'm going to create a dating profile. All right, I'm going to check out one person on this dating. Set something small. Don't overwhelm yourself, okay? You don't have to have it all figured out by tomorrow. There's just no timing on this, okay? This is your own journey, and we're just learning. So set small goals for yourself every day. And every day you do that and you achieve those goals, congratulate yourself. See that as a victory, because it is. Even one small thing, like whenever I had a financial thing come in and I didn't panic about it and I just said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. No big deal. That felt good. And the better you feel, the more, again, we're attracting situations that help us to feel better. It increases our confidence. You're moving forward. It might be slowly and steadily, but you're still moving forward. Practice positive thinking. And I know you've heard this over and over again. Now, I have affirmations, I know, but it really does help. It keeps us grounded. It's so easy for anxiety to creep in and to have panic attacks whenever things happen that we're not prepared for. You have got to learn to let that go. So I always like to have affirmations ready and things that I know if this happens, I say this to myself. One that I like to use all the time for many different situations is everything is always working out perfectly for me. In my mind, I know that that really is true because there's never been a time where I felt let down. You know, I always feel like things have worked out in the end. It might not have worked out the way that I expected. It might not have been in the timing that I expected, but it did work out. So I always tell myself that everything always works out perfectly for me. And I've learned to trust that. Recognize that a lot of the thoughts that you have, these have been programmed in you since you were a child, mostly by our parents because they wanted to keep us safe. So many times we heard things like, don't get your hopes up, or there must be a catch. I know these were things my mom said personally to me, and I know that she did it with love. And of course, I loved her a lot. And I know, especially becoming a parent myself, we're trying to prepare our children and just say, you know, don't really depend or rely on so-and-so. But what we're actually doing is saying, don't expect it to work out because it's not going to, right? We're just setting them up for failure instead when we do that. So this is programming you've got to address. Try to notice the thoughts that come in as they come in. Maybe write them down and then go back and look at them and ask yourself, where did those come from? Are those my thoughts? Or are those things that I've heard throughout all the years that I just keep saying over and over again to myself? So really try to challenge your thoughts. Don't compare yourself to anyone else because comparison is the thief of joy, right? It's something like that. It's true. You're not on anyone else's journey. You're on your journey, and your journey doesn't look like anyone else. And if anything, if you see a lot of people around you who are succeeding, that should tell you that it's possible for you too. Well, if they can have it, so can I. But my journey is different and I'm going to get it in a different way. And I'm okay with that. My timing is different. Do not be jealous of others because really the universe is unlimited. And that jealousy just, to me, it's almost like karma, but I don't mean it. Like, don't be afraid of that. But what I mean is we're kind of limiting. If we're filled with these jealous thoughts, we're lowering our vibration, number one. And number two, it's like almost cursing someone else, in my opinion. This is, again, just my opinion. And so what you put out there comes back to you. So don't be jealous, okay? Instead, congratulate them. How would you want someone else to react to you if you found out tomorrow you won the lottery and you never had to work again? Would you want people to be like, why did it happen to her? She sucks. No, you would want people to say congratulations and be happy for you. So when you see that happening to other people, no matter what you think of the person, just think in your mind, congratulations, the same is going to happen for me, or I'm going to get my day too. Don't fill yourself with those jealous thoughts or try to compare yourself. There's really nothing that comes from that. It's not a great look for anyone. For many people, this fear of failure causes a resistance to try new things. And that's what life is all about, is trying new things. I mean, it gets pretty boring if we just stay in our same lane and we don't do anything new. It also can cause you to self-sabotage because you don't feel like you're qualified to try something new or you don't have enough. It can cause anxiety and that negative self-talk, and maybe you're just afraid of disappointing others. Sometimes we feel like, well, if I try that and I fail, everyone's going to be ashamed of me. It can also really just cause you indifference. If you feel like this is where I am, I'm just stuck here, I can't do anything different, that's a horrible feeling too. You don't want to avoid the unknown because sometimes in the unknown is where we can find our greatest gifts. The unknown was, for me, whenever I broke up after a 6-month relationship, after I hadn't dated in so long. And I really didn't know what to do with myself. And I was tired of things being exactly the same, but I wasn't sure. So I went out and I did something that I never would have thought that I would have done, which was to reach out and get a reading and get a spiritual healing session. And that is what led the person to say, you're supposed to be doing this, which I thought was crazy. I'm like, what? There's no way. But now look at me and here I am. Would I have done that had I ventured out and tried something new? Maybe, maybe not. You'll never know what could be waiting for you if you don't get yourself out of that fear of trying something new. Now, could you try something new and it doesn't work out? Absolutely. Is it wasted time? No. And you know why? Because when you get out there and you put yourself out there and you try something and you don't like it, or maybe it doesn't work out, now you know what you don't want. And that helps you to shape a life that you do want. These are all, and if you would look at it this way and just shift your mindset and see it like this, these are all experiences that shape us and show us truth about ourselves, truth about life. It shows us what we don't want, and it also shows us what we do want. So don't ever look at something like it was wasted time, it wasn't worth it. I never see anything like that. Now, I used to, before I got into spirituality, I'd be like, well, you just wasted my time. Nothing is ever a wasted experience because we learn from everything we do. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not so good. It doesn't feel good to us, but it is still good because it's an experience. And now you can say, I don't ever want to experience that again. And now you know what to avoid in the future and what to do more of in the future. And that is exactly why we came here. It's important for you to accept that failure is actually really normal. You think about the greatest people, and they had so many failures in life. I had a professor one time who, on the very first day of class, he put up this list of failures that somebody had, and we were supposed to try to figure out who it was. It ended up being Abraham Lincoln. His list of failures included that he lost Senate and House races. He lost his first 2 Senate races and his first 2 House races. He faced financial difficulties in his early life. He had a failed relationship. He had depression. And he had given other people in his life too many chances. So he had all of these failures to his name. And so none of us guessed the right answer. And then when he showed Abraham Lincoln, we were all like, oh my gosh, really? Because we just remember his successes. Nobody remembers him because of his failures, and no one's going to remember you because of your failures. Failures are a normal part of life. You have to have failures sometimes. Again, because it makes us stronger, it builds character, it does so many things. It's also important for you to realize that you're just beginning. Even though you might be listening to this and be in your 60s or 70s and be like, wait, I'm not just beginning. But if you're changing your mindset, if you are doing things differently, then you're a beginner. And it's okay to realize that you're just beginning something new, a new way of thinking, a new way of living, a new way of being. Look at every situation with curiosity, like this is an opportunity to learn. So what am I learning? You may experience roadblocks, or maybe you had unrealistic expectations and things didn't go your way. That's okay. If you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, you're still on the positive side, right? You're still winning. You're still 1 step ahead. So don't talk yourself out of trying to do things. Maybe you need a mentor or somebody you can talk to. I had a coach, and I'm not ashamed to say that I worked with a coach after that breakup, and it was the best decision I ever made. It completely changed the course of my life. Of course, I offer coaching sessions if you're interested. You can always reach out to me. All of my contact info is in the show notes, or you can go to my website too to see what I offer. But it was helpful for me just to be able to tell all of my problems to someone else who could look at it with an objective perspective, right? I was too close to it. I couldn't see the obvious things that were glaring right out at me. But the person that I talked to could and would tell me, okay, well, you're overlooking these major things. It's easy to focus on the negative. In fact, our brains are hardwired to do that. And you've been doing that for so long that it's going to be hard at first to stop doing that. But it is possible. Instead of trying to focus on what could go wrong, I want you to think of 3 or 4 things that could go right. If it worked out for you, what could happen? So for example, let's say you want a new job. If that worked out for you, because we could focus on, well, what if I don't like it? Well, what if it doesn't pay? Well, what if this, that, right? We do that. That's natural. What if instead you focused on, what if I get this new job and I meet people who are so great and I end up making new friends? What if I get this new job and it's so fulfilling to me, it doesn't feel like work? What if I get this new job and it ends up paying me more than I'm making right now and I can do so much with this financial freedom? I want you to start focusing on the positives that could happen. And we're not getting our hopes up. That's not what this is. This is part of what we do when we co-create with the universe. Because when you are very curious and optimistic, it's like we're signaling to the universe what you want. Wouldn't you want to have new friends? Wouldn't you want to make more money? Wouldn't you want to do this or that? So if you're focused on what could go wrong, you're kind of telling the universe this is going to happen, and the universe says, yes, it will. Somebody said that once. I think I read that quote that Kerry Washington said it, that the universe is always saying yes. So if you say that I'm going to fail, the universe says, yes, you are. But if you say to yourself, this is going to be fun, the universe will say, yes, it will. This is going to be exciting and new. Yes, it will. This is going to lead to better opportunities for me. Yes, it will. So start reframing those thoughts that come out. And remember that if you never try something new and you do what you've always done, first of all, they say that's the definition of insanity. But secondly, how boring would life be? How unfulfilling, how not exciting is life when we keep doing the same things over and over again? And if you're just sitting there and doing it and complaining, then you've got no one to blame but yourself. And I don't say that to be mean or critical or anything, because I understand how fear can keep you stuck. But you're the one. Nobody can push you out there and make you do it. You have to decide for yourself that I'm going to do something different. There is a cost for making decisions based in fear. You can miss out on some of the best opportunities of your life if you never try anything new. I think about one of my podcast listeners, and I won't name her, but she'll know who she is. And I think this is just such a cute and funny story, and I love it. But she said she had always wanted to try this new restaurant, but didn't want to go alone and, didn't want to, just had put it off, just didn't want to do it. And I understand that too. And finally decided to. It was the best food I'd ever had. And there's a reason. It was probably the best food she'd ever had for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was probably good food. Her instincts were correct. But number two, it feels so good to try something new. Even when something doesn't work out. And I am the first one to tell you this. I've done things where I've tried new things and I was so excited about it and it didn't work out. And even though I might have been a little disappointed that it didn't work out, I was still very glad that I tried it because it showed me one thing. It took away that I really need to do that. I want to do that. Took away that longing. I'm satisfied that I did it. And it boosted my confidence. I wasn't sure about it and I did it. I know I never want to do it again, but I did it. And that's a huge boost in your confidence. Trying and failing is much better than not trying at all. In the long run, if you try something and it didn't work out, you've wasted nothing because it was a learning opportunity. But if you try something new and it does work out and you discover something you absolutely love, then that's a huge win. At any rate, trying something at all should be a huge boost in your confidence because most people don't try things. They're too afraid. Having a flexible mindset is one of your greatest gifts. Allowing yourself to look at things with an open mind allows you greater freedom, and it allows you the courage to try the things that you never thought you would. You're going to be afraid, but as the whole meaning of this podcast episode has been, show up shaking. Do it anyway. You don't have to have all of the answers. You don't have to know how it's going to turn out. Do it anyway. Take risks. Every risk feels big, but if you take slow, small steps, break down your big goals into smaller ones that feel more manageable, you're going to feel better and comfortable taking risks. Accept that you may get rejection. Fear of rejection is a real thing, and when you put yourself out there, you can get rejected. But everyone experiences that. And when you tell yourself that, okay, rejection isn't a bad thing. I always say rejection is God's protection, and it is. If something rejected you, and I tell myself this all the time, it wasn't meant for you. And that's okay. Again, it was just another opportunity to learn. I have applied for jobs many times over the years, and there were jobs I really wanted, and I got rejected. And later, not at the time, but later, I understood it was part of the plan. Things happened that I was like, oh, if I had that job, I never would have been able to do X, Y, or Z. So rejection is God's protection. What's meant for you will always be for you. It will find its way for you. You have to keep that attitude and that mindset. Keep that in mind. A rejection is the opportunity to learn, and it moves you closer to your goal. So try new things, okay? I am challenging you this week to get out of your comfort zone a little bit and try new things. This new reality TV was a new thing for me. And honestly, at first, I didn't think I was going to do it. I actually was not going to do it because I had never done TV and I didn't know that my podcast was right for that or if it was the right format. And I just thought, I don't want to do this. I don't want to mess with it. And the universe kept pushing me. They're like, just wait. Just tell them you will. Things kept changing. And it was like, we're going with something else. There's a new contract. I'm like, here's an opportunity to back out. But I just kept hearing, no, just wait. Just have faith. Just keep going. So I did. And I tried something new. So now I am putting the challenge out there for each and every one of you to try something new this week. Something that maybe makes you a little bit afraid. And I want you to have the attitude that if it doesn't work, oh well, it doesn't work. Now I know what not to do. Now I wanted to pull some cards for you. And as I said before, the very first card that came out was Show Up Shaking. And it came out twice in this reading. So I'm going to read the cards that came out. This is your message. Remember, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But the first one is Show Up Shaking. You will never feel 100% ready. Anxiety is excitement in disguise. Know that you have everything you need within you to rock it now. Show up even if you are shaking. Take imperfect action. What is one thing that you've been wanting to do? Take one step in that direction. And there's a mantra that goes with this card, and you can say this to yourself. I have everything I need within me now. The next card, and you, again, can't make this up, it's time to take action. What step can you take today to feel closer to your goal or dream? Today, cross one item off your to-do list. I already challenged you to do that. Cross one item off your to-do list. Build momentum by taking baby steps, crossing off one thing at a time. The action is I will commit to doing blank today. What are you going to commit to doing today? And the mantra that goes with that card is when I show up consistently, I build confidence within myself. Then I pulled some other cards. These are Angela Rose's deck, by the way. And they were gifted to me. I so appreciate that. Whenever people send me things, that's so nice. Thank you for that. The next card is a new beginning. A new beginning is presenting itself to you. Trust that life is unfolding for your highest good. It's time to celebrate your accomplishments and enjoy this divine unfolding. And then we have created with intention. You were created with intention. What comes easily and simple to you is your superpower and divine gift. Don't underestimate how powerful your gift is to others. The world needs your offering. Next, we have Braveheart. Growth is uncomfortable because it's new. You have never been here before. You are brave and courageous. Step confidently into your power. Life will expand with you. Next, we have Show Up Shaking. Wow. Again, show up shaking. You have everything you need within you, even if you may not feel ready. Push through what feels uncomfortable. You are here to share your message and gifts with the world. And lastly, you have Stay on the Path. Life has guaranteed highs, lows, and uncertainty. Stay on the path. Keep showing up for yourself. If you fall off, get right back on. You will reach your destination. This is your journey. Trust in it. I love that. So many God winks in this particular episode. So you know what to do now. It's in your hands. The universe is working with you, and everything is always working out perfectly for you. If you would like to work with me, there's so many ways you can. I offer one-on-one coaching sessions. You can do half hour, or I do packages. You can also book a reading with me where I can give you messages from my guides and pull cards for you to give you some clarity for the upcoming weeks. I also do healing sessions. I offer Reiki, plus I also offer hypnotherapy sessions. There's so many ways to work with me. I have online courses. I have a 10-day intensive self-love course if you're looking to build your self-love, self-confidence, self-esteem. I also have a Love Your Life course, which gives you 32 daily tools that you can use in order to live a better life. I teach you things like meditation, EFT tapping, all kinds of things. And all of these things are available on my website. Don't forget about my books. My first book is Beautifully Broken, The Spiritual Woman's Guide to Thriving After a Divorce or Breakup. I also have Beautiful Mourning, A Guide to Life After Loss if you are grieving or know anyone who is. And of course, the new reality TV is this new endeavor that I'm very excited about. Go check that out. The link for all of this is in the show notes. I hope that you guys have an amazing week. I am sending you so much love and light and encouragement to get out there, try something new, and start living a life you absolutely love.